welcome back to my channel. Majority of you guys wanted to hear my labor experience, so I'm going to tell that story today. So I had had enough of my pregnancy, so there's a gelato at Stella Luna Gelato here in Ottawa, and so I went there Sunday night. Got like the biggest one possible, and then I went back Monday night, and like this gelato, okay, it's made with Mayan chocolate, which is made with chili peppers, I believe, and so like this ice cream was like chocolatey, but it was like super spicy, because also in the ice cream was like chili flakes, so as you're eating it, like, oh, there's like chili flakes and stuff, and oh, it was so gross. Anyway, so I went to bed on Monday night. You know, I was just like, okay, just another night, whatever. And then I wake up at 5:20 in the morning on Tuesday, and I'm just like having like a lot of pressure, and like it was just so uncomfortable. I was trying to go to bed, like go back to sleep for like 20 minutes. But eventually I gave up at 5:40. I was like, hey, this is like so uncomfortable, like I'm just gonna like have a shower, like fuck this. I'm just, like, I wasn't in pain, but it was like a lot of like pressure. Anyways, so I had a shower, and you know, I was like paying attention to the time, and it was happening like every like 5 to 7 minutes. So I was like, am I in labor? Like, I don't know. Anyway, so I was talking to my grandmother and stuff, and I was telling them what I was feeling, and you know, they thought it was like nothing, and so I was like, okay, it's probably nothing. So then I spent the rest of the morning just sitting on like the couch, like right behind me, and then I think when it got to like 6:30 or something, you know, I remembered the times from like the past hour of when I would get this like pressure feeling, and so I started writing them down, you know, and then my mom comes down at like 8:30 or so. I tell her what I'm feeling, what's been going on, how long it's been lasting. Like, it had been 3 hours at this point, it hasn't stopped, and she was like, oh, like, I think maybe you're just getting a cruel case of Braxton Hicks, which are practice contractions. It's not actual labor contractions, it's just your body like preparing for having a baby. Anyways, so then my mom went to go bring my sister into school, and you know, at this point when she gets back, it's like 9:30. It'd been like 4 hours. I was like they're every 5 to 7 minutes. Like, it wasn't on the dot like every 5 minutes or 6 minutes, like it varied. So we gave it like another half an hour or an hour or so, and then we decided that I would call the hospital. So I called the hospital to labor and delivery, and you know, I told them what was going on, how long it's lasting, what I was feeling, and they were like, yeah, like, you're probably in like labor, but you're not in active labor yet, so you know, stay at home. There's nothing we can do for you here. Just come in when your contractions are lasting a minute apart, lasting a minute long. They're 5 minutes apart, or if the pain gets like too much to bear and you need like pain medication. So we're going through like the whole day. It's whatever, you know, I'm in labor, trying to do things to like speed it up, because when you're in labor, like, you don't want to like just sit down because your labor will be really slow. So we decided, like, so this is my mom, Bryden, and I. Bryden and I actually went and signed an application form for an apartment, and like, I'm sitting there like having contractions, because we're there for like, I don't know, like 20 minutes or so, and I'm like having like a bunch of contractions, and like by this time I think it was like 11:30 or so, and we're timing the contractions, and you know, they're lasting like maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and so yeah, we're doing that. Then we decided to go to Walmart, And you know, we're just walking around Walmart having contractions all through Walmart. So when we get back to my house, it's probably maybe 1 o'clock or so. I mean, we were only out for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Anyways, so, and by this point, like, my contractions were starting to, like, really hurt. It was just, like, just a lot of pressure. They were lasting, like, 45 seconds and so, and they're about 6 minutes apart. It was more consistent at this point. Next, like, 2 hours or so, the pain got a lot worse, and then they built up to 5 minutes apart. Like, they're just 5 minutes apart, and they're lasting about 55 seconds, and this was at just after 3 o'clock. And then, so, you know, we gave it another few contractions, and then we're like, okay, let's go to the hospital. We're on our way to the hospital. It's, like, so funny just having contractions wherever you go, because it was just like, you know, having to breathe, like, grab something, like, really hard, you know, and just try to get through it, closing my eyes, breathing. And then, so we stopped at McDonald's on the way, because, like, obviously you want to get a bite to eat before we're in the hospital for who knows how long. So we get to the hospital, and as we're pulling up to the desk, I, like, grab the ledge there. So I'm having a contraction. They asked for, like, my ID and stuff, but, like, Brian got it all out. You know, they say, like, okay, yeah, we had called him beforehand, too, so they're like, yeah, okay, just take a minute, and we're gonna get you into an exam room, check out, like, how dilated you are, if your water broke, and da-da-da. We're in a room, and I swear to God, the nurses take so fucking long, okay? Like, we were probably waiting, like, 10-15 minutes, and I'm, like, in active labor, like, having contractions, like, every 5 minutes, lasting, like, a minute, and they're taking so fucking long. They do an exam. The exam's fucking awful. And, like, they need to see if my water broke, because I was positive for this thing called Strep B. And it's just, like, I don't know, I don't even know really what it's all about, but, like, some people have it, some people don't. Some people have it with one baby, but not with another. But what it basically means is, if you're positive for it, is that if your water breaks, because the baby's in a sac that has all amniotic fluid in it, and then if that sac breaks, that's your water breaking. And anyway, so if your water breaks, you need to be on antibiotics, because it can be harmful to the baby. Like, I heard, like, baby can go blind, and, like, I don't know what else. Anyways, so they tried 3 tests. The last one being fucking awful with this clamp thing. Yeah. And my water didn't even break. Which I thought it didn't fucking break, I know. And, anyways, they see I'm only, like, 2 centimeters dilated or something. And so they couldn't admit me, because you need to be, like, just over 4 centimeters. Like, you can't, like, not even, like, just 4 centimeters. Like, you need to be more than that. So then, they're like, yeah, like, we can't admit you, there's nothing we can do right now, so, like, your best bet is to just go home. And then I just looked at my mom, and I was like, I'm not fucking going home, like, because I live 15 minutes away from the hospital, so it's 15 minutes back home. I could be home for 5-10 minutes, and then we have to drive 15 minutes back, and, like, driving while you're in labor is, like, the worst, because, like, there's bumps in the road and shit, and, like, you're having contractions, and I was just like, no, I'm not going home for, like, nothing. So what we decided to do was go to St. Laurent Shopping Center, since it was, like, literally right down the road, and just walk around there. We went there, and probably by this point it was 4:30, 5 o'clock, I would say. And so we're just walking around. I was forced to walk down the stairs, because doing stairs while you're in labor is, like, better than walking, because it's dropping the baby down. And so We were at Saint Laurent for 25 minutes, and my contractions went from every 5 minutes to every 2 minutes in like 25 minutes, which is very fast. So, like, what happened while we're there, we're just walking around, I would stop when I would have a contraction and, you know, get through it. And then my mom was timing them, and Bryden's mom was there too. And they told me, after we'd been there for 23 minutes, they were like, okay, you know what, you tell us when you feel like we need to go back to the hospital. Like, just let us know and we'll go. Anyway, so I had a contraction. As I finished saying that, we literally walked like maybe 5 feet, and then I had another contraction. And Bryden's mom and my mom just looked at each other. We're like, we need to go. Because like my contractions were like coming. I mean, it took us like, I don't know, at least 5 minutes to get out of the mall, because like we still had to walk to the stairs, go up the stairs, and then outside while I'm in active labor. And there was like people like staring at me like the whole time, like, oh my god, people like coming up like, does she need a wheelchair? Like, it was honestly so funny. We leave, we get back to the hospital, and then they do another exam, and they're like, yeah, like, you make good progress, but you're only 3 centimeters dilated. And by this point, dude, I'm crying. Like, I don't deal well with pain, okay? Like, pain, not my thing. Like, I am a complete fucking bitch with pain. Like, no. So I was like, give me something. Like, I can't, no, I'm not doing this. So they wouldn't admit me yet because I wasn't dilated enough. So they couldn't give me an epidural yet. Plus, epidural, like, will really slow down your labor. So they're like, no, like, we can't give you an epidural, but we'll give you a shot of Nubain, which is a narcotic. So what they did is it's like a shot, like, basically in your butt almost. And I'm telling you, that shit worked so well, and like, I was so fucking high. I remember I was just sitting there. I didn't feel any contractions anymore, basically. And and I was so high, like, I was so, like, loopy, but, like, I didn't, like, I didn't want my mom and stuff to think I was, like, fucked, because I was, like, but anyways, I don't even remember saying some of the things I did, like, that's how fucked I was on this, but apparently, like, Bryden told me, you know, like, a while after, like, probably after Mateo was born, he was like, yeah, like, you're so funny, you're, like, I'm so loopy right now, like, who the fuck would give this someone to a person who's having a baby, like, I can't take care of a baby like this, and da-da-da, like, I was just, like, Nubain saved my life for that part of my labor. Anyways, so they wouldn't admit me, so after I got the shot of Nubain, they're like, okay, like, you can just go downstairs, walk around, or anything, because, like, we still can't admit you. It was so annoying. Anyways, so we went downstairs, like all the way downstairs, where there's like a Tim Hortons and some couches and whatever. And so walked around there. There were stairs. So Bryden and I would be like going up and down the stairs, you know. And that was at 6:30-ish. We walked around there, and because the Nubain was working so much, you know, I just kept walking and whatever, but they said the Nubain would only last 4 hours, and then it would, like, wear off. Just about 11:30, and then I was like, okay, like, it's starting to wear off, like, I want to go upstairs right now, because, like, I don't want to get back to how I was before, like, crying in complete pain, like, no. Anyways, so while we're leaving, my grandmother from PEI arrives. We all go upstairs together, and then the nurses take so fucking long. And so by the time a nurse saw me, like, I was already back to where I was before, crying in, like, complete pain, like, dying. And I was, like, screaming. I was like, get a fucking nurse in here right now and shit. Like, no, I don't do pain. Like, they should know this by now. Like, I had been there since, like, 3:30 in the afternoon, and by this point, it's, like, midnight. Like, hello, do you not know me by now? It's in, like, hard labor, okay? And it's, like, midnight, and so, they did the whole exam all over again for the third fucking time. I was 4 centimeters dilated now, but they still wouldn't fucking admit me. It was so frustrating. So what they did is they gave me another shot of Nubain to help with the pain. And so then I was like, I'm not going all the way downstairs again, because this shot of Nubain, bro, it barely helped at all, okay? I felt like a little bit of pain go for maybe 10 minutes. Like, this shit didn't work at all for the second time. And to, like, really get my labor going, I was walking around with my grandma just around, like, the labor and delivery, you know, that floor. And every time I would have a contraction, she'd tell me to grab onto the wood railing that they have all around that floor. And she would tell me to grab it. And then she would tell me to squat. And I had to hold the squat for the whole contraction. Bro, that shit hurt. That shit got my labor going quick. Okay, so I'm, like, grabbing it. And then I was eventually, like, within, like, 5-10 minutes, I was screaming. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna poop him out. Like, screaming. You know, like, nothing was helping me. They wouldn't admit me. Like, fucking nurses and doctors going around. Like, do they know that she's in this much pain? Like, what the fuck? And then they're like, they know. They know. Then, I was like, I had enough. Like, I would probably lasted, like, actually, I don't even know. My idea was time was way off. Like, it felt like, I feel like it was only, like, 20 minutes, half an hour, but honestly, it could have been, like, an hour. Like, I don't know. Like, by this point, the pain just had me, like, blacked out. I am so exhausted by this point. I had been in labor for, like, almost, like, 24 hours, and, like, I was just not having it. I took a few breaks from walking and squatting and just was, like, sitting down because, like, I was fucking exhausted. I'm dying here in pain, and then a nurse finally comes up and was like, okay, yeah, like, we're cleaning your room, and I was like, thank fucking God. So now I'm there, dying in pain. They can't give me anything anymore because, like, the Nubain's not working. They can't put me in a room because they're cleaning my room, so I can't get an epidural. So there I am, just on my hands and knees, because that position helped me a little bit. So on my hands and knees, just dying, crying, in pain. And then I hear, like, my mom whisper, like, oh, like, they said they were cleaning her room, like, 40 minutes ago. And I overhear that, and then I'm just like, what the fuck? They said they were fucking cleaning my fucking room 40 fucking minutes ago. Like, I turned into a whole different person when I was in labor. Like, I would turn into such, like, an asshole and a bitch, and, like, I'm just screaming, I'm mad at everyone. So now, since they're taking so long to get this fucking room ready for me, they literally bring out a bed, okay? They bring out a hospital bed. They put it in the nursing station, like, where everyone goes to, like, check in, and I get on it. It's on an angle, so, like, here's, like, the lower part of the bed, and, you know, hospital beds turn up, so it's like this. I'm on my hands and knees still. My ass is in the air, facing the window, okay, where everyone is, like, going and checking in. I mean, I had, like, 2 gowns on. Like, I had one on in the back and then one on in the front, right? Because, you know, there's only, like, half a robe to each of them. And this nurse gets me a tank of laughing gas. I'm there, on my hands and knees, in a hospital bed, in the nursing station, with a tank of laughing gas, and I swear to God, I was huffing that shit so hard. Like, I was in so much pain, I had to huff that shit until, like, I couldn't see. Like, I literally felt like I was in a black room. I couldn't hear anyone. Like, I was just, like, huffing that shit. And then, all of a sudden, I finally feel good, right? And then, I just look up. I'm just like, I just remembered something. Steve is my guinea pig. Well, he's with Bryden now, but anyways, that was our guinea pig, and we just left Steve while I'm in labor, and like, I'm like, oh no, like, no one's gonna be able to take care of him. So there I am, like, I don't even know how long I'm there for, and so I'm just huffing that laughing gas, like, going off, because it was the only thing that would stop the pain, and as soon as I would stop huffing it, within 10 seconds, I was like, dying of pain all over again. So the time comes where I finally get to go to my room, and so they're bringing me to the room. They got the tank of laughing gas on the bed. I'm just there like, the time comes and we get into the room. I have to go pee, so they're trying to, like, you know, help me. I'm like in a wheelchair. I got my laughing gas and shit, and then I had to put the laughing gas down for a second, or like, or I forget. Anyways, and then while I'm getting back into the wheelchair and they're bringing me out, they gave the laughing gas to Bryden just so that he could bring it out, and I'm sitting there, and then literally 10 seconds into the laughing gas, and I sit there, I'm just like, gas me. So they like, Bryden's like rushing over, getting the laughing gas and shit. And that was the only thing that made me through this whole part of my labor, was that fucking laughing gas. I swear to God. The anesthesiologist? No, that's not how you say it. But anyways, the doctor that was going to give me my epidural comes in. And, you know, she's like, okay, you can only have one person in the room while you do this. So I was like, Mama, get over here. Help me get through this. So I'm sitting there, she's holding one hand, my other hand has the gas mask, or whatever, you know, and so they're like, okay, put your chin to your chest, because you know, the epidural goes right into your spine, and so I'm doing it with the, with the laughing gas, and she was like, okay, you're going to have to do this without the laughing gas, because your chin won't go to your chest properly, and I won't be able to get the epidural in, like, correctly. I had to go, like, I don't know, like 2 to 5 minutes without the laughing gas. I had a bunch of contractions. It was fucking terrible. And anyways, then I got the laughing gas back again afterwards, and, you know, then I was just laying in bed. You know, they're, like, putting ice packs on my legs, making sure, like, the epidural, like, works properly and whatever. It probably took, like, 20 minutes or so to get the, epidural working properly, because like I had to like switch sides and stuff, because like I needed to get it because it was in just one leg at first and I could feel the other leg. They had to have me like roll onto each side just so that it would work properly. By this point, now that I'm not in pain and shit and I can finally relax, like, I'm done. I mean, I didn't get any sleep, but it was so nice to just be able to lay there and not be dying. Turns out that I emptied that tank of laughing gas, like, you know, like a big ass, like, tank of laughing gas. So yeah, just to get me through my labor, it took me 2 shots of Nubain narcotic, an entire tank of laughing gas, and an epidural. I don't even know what time it is by this point, and I laid there with my eyes closed. I maybe slept like 20 minutes, but I never actually got to fall asleep, but I was fucking exhausted. My doctor finally came. I don't know what time it was. She just checked in on me. I was like 8 centimeters dilated or something. Like, I was almost there. So, you know, she left for a little while, and then I was just laying there with my eyes closed, whatever. And then she comes in again, and she was like, I'm there with my eyes closed. She's like, all right, Veronica, like, wake up. Like, we're going to get pushing soon. In that moment, like, I swear to God, it hit me like a fucking brick wall. I was like, holy fuck, I'm having a baby and I'm about to give birth. Like, it hit me really hard. It was like 8 o'clock. It was just about 8 o'clock. And, you know, they're all like, ooh, when, like, what time do we think the baby's gonna be born? They're just, like, getting everything set up and whatever. And I was 10 centimeters dilated now. And I started pushing at 8:15 or so, and some people were like, ooh, like, maybe we'll have a baby by 8:30, and my doctor was like, okay, like, I don't think by 8:30, but maybe by, like, 9 o'clock, because average pushing time to have a baby is 2 hours, and it was, like, 8:15. Anyways, so I started pushing at, like, 8:15. You know, every time you have a contraction, you need to push, and then within 35 minutes, he was out, and holy crap, it was just such a beautiful moment. I just started crying, and I was like, it was so crazy. Like, I grew him in my belly for 10 months, and now I finally got to meet him. It was such an amazing experience. I didn't feel a single bit of pain during delivering. Like, labor was like 10 times harder than I thought it was gonna be, and actually delivering was like 10 times easier than I thought it was gonna be. So, yeah, that was my experience with labor and delivery. But I mean, every little bit was worth it for Mateo, and I'd go through it all again. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe how it was a little funny. Every time I think about it, I laugh, so. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. Bye!